Pablo, let's just get right to the good stuff right away. Third minute, there was VAR. What did they tell you about why they didn't give a penalty?
They said his hand was in a natural position. Um, and again, I think, listen, I was on the call with the league and the referee officials last game, and basically, not basically, they said that all three calls on Luna and the two PKs, well, the two PKs shouldn't have been PKs, and the handball or the foul on Luna should have been called before the altercation. So, DJ, I'm at a loss as to um, how things work, how VAR plays a role. It just seems like the more we're involved, uh, the further away we get to uncovering how this whole system works.
Olatunji makes his first appearance. The heel flick to himself was fairly spectacular, but there were stretches where he didn't look that connected, which might be not very many training sessions with a group. How do you assess the performance of a guy who's had so little time with the group?
Yeah, and he hasn't had a full preseason either, and I think it's just, we're up against time, and the most important thing is that he completed the game. I thought he had some really good actions. He's still trying to understand the way we press, the way we attack. But I think you saw in that one play what he's capable of. I think he had a couple really good moments. And again, that's why this window is so difficult in this league, right? Because the players you get more than likely aren't going to be fit. And now we have 8 games left to try to get him up to speed, learn the tactics, know his teammates, understand the league, play on grass, play on turf, travel 5 hours. So it's not an easy endeavor, but he's a real committed player. I think he's gonna help us out a ton.
Didn't seem like there was much direct play over the top, which we've come to see. Maybe some opportunities to get him behind Tim Ream's 37, test him a little bit. Was that part of the game plan, or is it just the way things went as it unfolded?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a double-edged sword, DJ, where I think we could have exploited that space behind a little bit more, but we also wanted to control the game with the ball, knowing that they were going to be in a block and find our moments to kind of to play between the lines. And I think we did a good job of that, in particular in the second half, finding Diogo in central positions where he's able to turn and then feed our forwards. Because again, this is a team that's real dangerous in transition. And again, long balls put you in a position where you won't control the game as much, although it could be more dangerous to score goals, to your point. But again, I think that's definitely an area that we'll look at and continue to work on. And I think a big part of that was we weren't able to find Pablo Ruiz in this game. Part of it was his movement. A part of it was the quickness of our rotations was a bit slow at times. And again, Pablo Ruiz is the player that unlocks defenses behind the back line, and we just weren't able to find him enough.
Luna suspended for Minnesota. Gozo suspended. Agata is suspended. Is it just next man up? What do you do without that? That's a lot of goals and assists there.
Yeah, I think my message to the team is like, listen, I come in every game and I'm like, relatively speaking, we play a good game tactically. Um, the margins in this league are so thin. We got beat on a set piece tonight. And really what it comes down to, DJ, is making plays. And so my challenge to the group is like, listen, the effort was there, the commitment was there, the tactical understanding was there. But at the end of the day, and I've said this in the past, is you got to make a play on offense. And it doesn't matter if it's from a set piece, run a play, long throw. You just got to hit the back of the net. We've got to have somebody that's willing to take the burden of scoring the goal for us, right? And so that's my challenge to the group. And so with those two out, the next two will step in, and the expectations are the same. We need to make a play.
Last one for me. The summer transfer window closes the 21st. Is the club all done, or might something happen?
There's still a possibility that something may happen. But again, I think it's going to go down to the wire whether or not it comes through to fruition.
Thank you, Pablo.
Yep.
Caleb Turner, you're next. Then we'll come in the room here with Maddie Casey.
Thanks for hopping on, Pablo. We talked about the handball already, but there was also that the yellow on Zaha right in front of your bench that seemed like it could have been violent conduct, and then a couple out of bounds calls that probably should have been corners for your team that didn't get called corners. I saw Sam Junka after one of those corner calls. Just reading his lips, looked like he said, "What's going on?" It's one thing, you watch it from the sidelines and on TV, but for your guys that are on the field going through it, is the frustration mounting?
No, I think unfortunately it is. And again, I think it goes back to just consistency. And, you know, I'm just bemused at what has occurred in the last couple games. Again, it's not deliberate, but it just seems like we're on the wrong side of these moments. And I always talk about moments change games, right? So if the penalty, obviously, if someone upstairs calls, because her thing, the referee's stance was that his arms were in a natural position. So therefore, the communications with VAR, if the VAR referee sends her to the video, the monitor, there's obviously some discrepancy in what they're both seeing, right? And so it just feels like, week after week, we're on the phone with the people at Pro and talking about what this is. And I think the Mecca thing is real too. Grabbing somebody by the head and neck and throwing them to the ground is like, I used to think that was a red card. And we've been red carded for things that were just so just innocent. And so again, I think the biggest struggle for me, and I think the players as well, is just the consistency in what we're dealing with and trying to navigate what is acceptable and what is not. And I think that does lead to frustrations, and it does lead to focusing on things beyond your control, which is something we talk about. But again, these players are humans, right? And if they feel like they're being hard done, you're not going to just go, oh, but our coach told us to be just control the controllables. They're competitors. They're in the arena, and so. But again, that's obviously not our focal point. We've got to help ourselves and make plays on both sides of the ball. The set piece. On all our set pieces. I think we got to do a better job. We got to be more aggressive. We got to be willing to. I've always said in the past where attacking set pieces is about people that are willing to break their neck to score a goal, right? And that's not evident, right? You've got to be willing to put yourself in a vulnerable position to make a play. Um, and obviously they had a player that was willing to do that, and we haven't. So we've got to rethink you know our mentality on those plays on set pieces, because again, like I said, the margins are really really thin, um, and every play matters.
Appreciate it, Pablo.
Matty Casey here in the room, and then we'll finish up with Carlos Artiles after that.
Hey, Pablo, what was the message to the team in the locker room immediately after the loss?
It was just about, listen, we come in, there's been a lot of performances this year where tactically it was well done. The effort was top, but what's been eluding us, I think, is making plays in that final third, and not, there's some great stuff in there. There's some really good opportunities. But like there's a belief factor that needs to be a part of our psyche where we're believing as individuals that we're greater than what we really are. This alter ego that says I'm gonna put this in the top shelf, and it just feels like there's a little bit of doubt in the choice of shot or the type of shot, where there needs to be more conviction, and then make plays defensively on the goal that we conceded. The game is about moments, and moments drive momentum, right? And so if we want to make a run at these playoffs, we've got to start believing that we are going to make plays in these difficult moments that the best players make, right? And we have a talented group, and so that's my challenge to them is you've got to believe you're going to score a goal before you receive the ball. And then everything comes into play. But if there's any doubt or we're apathetic because things aren't going our way with the calls, then we're going to struggle to win games. Because at the end of the day, the game is won and lost in milliseconds. And tonight was the same case.
Well, thank you. What did you see from Cruz and Victor Olatunji and Diogo, specifically those three?
Yeah, I think the first half, I think both halves, I think the guys did a pretty good job. I think in the second half, I think Diogo we ended up going one under two. And I think Diogo did a really good job of finding some good pockets. Our pivots and our back line did a really good job of finding Diogo in tight spaces. And then releasing Gozo and Victor and Juan in those pockets. And so again, I think we've been dangerous. I think I think we had like 6 or 7 shots on goal tonight. And in these games, especially as an away team, what I really like is that we play the same way whether we're home or away. And that's really hard to get to a point as a group where you believe you can do that, right? The next part of it is we need one of those to hit the back of the net. And now we can control the game on our terms, right? But I think the three of them did a good job. My expectations for Victor and Juan is that it's going to take a little bit of time. And unfortunately, we're up against time. And that's the difficult part. But I think with the performance tonight, they did a good job, and we need to just take it up one step from this performance, and I think the guys will do it.
And then last one for me, I was curious to see how Agata was going to respond to hitting the bench now with these new additions. What did you see from him when he came on?
I thought he was really impactful on both sides of the ball. I think defensively he did a great job pressing. Offensively got into really good spots and had a couple shots on goal. So again, I think it's a position where in the past few years he's been accustomed to coming into games and changing them. I thought he did that for us tonight. Unfortunately, he won't be available for the next game, but I thought it was a really good performance coming off the bench.
Thanks.
Yep.
No, I wouldn't say there's an element of fatigue. I mean, it's a long season every year and you got away trips every year. Yeah.
And then just, speaking to the frustration of some of the officiating calls, talking to Pablo, he said it's mostly just the inconsistency that seems frustrating. For you guys on the field, does it feel like things are inconsistent from game to game?
Yeah, I would say so. I think this game and the last game, I think there's been maybe some questionable calls. But you know, they just put their hand up and then we move on to the next. We take 2 L's and I don't really know. It is a little frustrating for sure. Because yeah, I don't know. Maybe Willie gets a handball early in the year off of a header that he's not even looking at the ball and is clearly jumping up for the header, and that's an unnatural position, I guess, but this one's not. So I don't know. I don't know. It is frustrating.
And then the only goal tonight scored on that free kick. You had the foul that set up the free kick, and then just maybe talk us through giving up that header and how you guys can improve on those set pieces.
Um, hmm. Yeah, I mean, we just gotta clear the ball. Yeah, I don't know. We'll work on it this week. I don't have an answer right at the moment.
Okay, appreciate it, Justin.
Cheers.
Go ahead, Matty.
Hey, Jay. So you got a foul called against you, yellow card for what I would consider a soccer play, going on a tackle where, it's just a little bit of timing was off. But then the calls weren't going the other way on what I would consider non-soccer plays. I'm specifically referring to Zaha throwing Emeka down by his neck.
Yep.
How do you stay aggressive in a game when it's difficult knowing what the ref's going to call and what they're not?
Yeah, it's tough, definitely. Obviously after I pick up a yellow, it's hard to go as hard because you're worried about getting a red. Again, I don't want to speak too much on the refereeing tonight. But yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to get you fined. You're one of the leaders on the back line. Obviously, next week you're going to be playing with a new back line. As one of the leaders in the team, how do you help integrate new players like Juan and Victor while you're simultaneously, working with new defensive partners every week?
Yeah. I think the defensive part is a little easier just because, they've been around the whole year. And it's, got a lot of trust, a lot of faith with anyone we put in there. But just getting Victor and Juan on the same page and it's always hard joining a new team and learning the system, how we press and all that. But I think they've done a fantastic job there they're working every day to understand it and to improve it. So yeah, I think that part obviously it does take a little bit of time. Obviously we're at a point in the season where you don't have much time to really figure things out, but I think they're going to be, I think they'll be solid and get on the same page quick.
And then last one for me, 5 of the next 7 at home. As you said, points are valuable at this point. What's the focus of the team going into a homestand?
Yeah, no, we just need to win games. Obviously we want to play good soccer and all that, but at this point it's just about picking up points. Pretty ugly, doesn't matter. We just need to make sure we get as many points as possible and get above that playoff line.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you, Justin. All right, guys, we'll have Victor in here momentarily. Hey, Caleb, do you want to lead us off with Victor, and then we'll go to Maddie Casey here in the room?
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Victor. How was it getting your first minutes out there for RSL tonight?
I mean, it's good. I feel good. I'm happy that I have my minutes and my first game in MLS today.
How has the adjustment overall been to MLS and a new team, new country, and everything?
I mean, I'm getting used to it, and as a football player, or as I am, because I've been in a lot of places, so I need to adjust and get through to the system. And yes.
And lastly, as someone who's new to this league, the last 2 games have been tough for RSL with some calls from the referee going both ways. How have you seen the way that this team has maybe responded to adversity and those calls over the last 2 weeks?
I mean, with the team, we are in a good process. Like as a new player coming into the team, I feel is the way forward, because we play good football, we play, but the referee and the way they handle the situation is not what we expected. But I mean, as a team, we are in the right way.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Casey.
Yes.
So we were kind of expecting you to go about maybe 60 minutes or 75. Instead, you went 90. How did it feel out there?
I mean, I feel good because I trained for this, and week in, week out is what I want to do. So I'm happy that I got 90 minutes from my debut, and I'm happy for this.
You had a play where you backheeled the ball to yourself over your shoulder and then put a shot that went between Kalina's legs, and he kind of saved it with his butt. Is that something we can expect you to do just any time?
I mean, in the game we have different moments, and in that moment I just feel like it's what I needed to do, because the ball was behind me and I need to bring it in front of me. So, I mean, yes.
I saw that aggression that you were talking to me about yesterday. You get the ball across the line.
Yes.
Unlucky, brother.
Yeah, I was unlucky.
And then last one, I know you've been looking forward to actually playing with Luna, but how did it feel out there tonight with Juan and with Diogo and Gozo?
I mean, like I said, in the team we are good. We have good relationship, and you can see from today, me and also the team, we play together, and I feel we are like in a good relationship. We are in a good moment.
Looking forward to seeing you at home.
Yeah, obviously, I'm looking forward to play, and also to make the fans happy, because as a football player, we play for yourself and also for the fans.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else for Victor? Daniel? Okay, thank you, Victor.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, we're off Monday.
Thank you very much.
Our flight's actually been delayed tonight, so we don't get back to Salt Lake till 2:00 tomorrow. We'll let you know if that affects the early week trainings. But typically we would be off Monday, back in Harriman, 10:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and at America First Field, Friday, 10:30 game, 7:30 Saturday at home against Minnesota. Holler if you need anything. Thank you.